today's webinar is to give all of you a sneak peek into what we've been planning for the 2024 annual. It's definitely our biggest, most ambitious event so far. And so we're super excited. We've been working on this quite hard for a few months now. So we'll unveil some of the tracks and things that we've been planning to do. So that's what we'll be sharing with you today. So these are our speakers. So I'll quickly introduce everyone, and you'll also hear from them shortly. So Shruti is currently the head of international business at Clari. And Shruti was also the founder of Wingman, which then got acquired by Clari. Then we have Prasanna, who's the managing partner at Upeka. Prasanna has a wealth of knowledge with AI and has been, also designing the AI track. So he's going to be talking about what we have in store for that. Finally, we have Ashwin, who's the co-founder of Pipe Candy. He's exited from Pipe Candy, and he's also a volunteer at SaaSBoomi and managing the program team. So all of us sort of report to him at this point. And I'm Nivedha. I'm founder at Residence, currently at Antler, but I also work part-time with SaaSBoomi on some of the strategy and operations. And we also have Amrita, who is very kind to help us with the Q&A today. So she'll be answering your questions there. So let's get started. So this is our agenda. So we'll quickly run through some of the highlights from last year's annual. Then we'll move on to Prasanna, who will talk about the AI track. Then we have Shruti, who will talk about how we are going to engage the peer-to-peer connections. Ashwin will touch on the connect events that we have planned, and he'll also talk about what connect events mean if you're, like, oh, what does connect events mean? And then finally, we'll open it up for Q&A. So please keep your questions rolling in. And during the Q&A, we will go through anything that's unanswered. We will definitely take it at that point. So first, to just go through some insights on, how annual 2023 was. Obviously, a pretty big success. We had a 9.57 recommendation score, which means almost everyone who came for the annual said that they would recommend, their peers to come join us. And of all the people who had registered, we had 90% of them show up to the event. So that's a pretty big attendance turnout. And the attendee startup scale analysis, this is to show what scale or range of startups or companies that we had seen. Typically, we see a higher percentage of folks who are in their early stage of their startup journey. So that's a expected trend. And this time we are, having a very specific focus on enabling scale startups as well. So that's something new that we're doing this time. So that's probably the first unveiling of, the inside secrets. Yeah, we had a pretty awesome turnout, and this sneak peek is for all of you all to also be excited about what's coming in. So if you are in any of these buckets that you're seeing here, then this is definitely for you. Okay, so over to you, Prasanna.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, so there's been a bit of demand. A few people are trying to do AI in their products in SaaS. To support that and to see how we can get more people doing AI in their products in SaaS, we've created a bunch of sessions, both on the main stage and as a separate track. I think the key element is that there are some phenomenal videos online which show some demos, but it's not clear to a lot of founders how exactly do you add AI to your own product. And secondly, there are folks who are becoming AI first SaaS businesses. So if you want to be an AI first SaaS business, what does that mean? What does it look like? Is also something that we are trying to address. And I think the market has not been uniform. It's very choppy. So some markets are doing well, some markets are not doing well. And I think the three segments that have been faring the worst are HR tech, MarTech, and sales tech. But a lot of founders in India have been building into those, right? So how do we, as a ecosystem, navigate these ups and downs? And in the process of this new thing called AI coming in, how do we, in a concrete way, understand what others are doing with AI in SaaS specifically to both create products that serve needs that didn't exist before this, or to create features that improve their products, and either way, like make more money, right? Second thing that we're looking at is uh, if you pick a global market, you will find a lot of competition from around the world building products for that market using AI. So there are probably hundreds of content generation AI products in English. But is there an Indic AI market, which could be a relatively blue ocean market versus the red ocean global AI market? Could that lead to Indic AI companies getting to 100 million revenue, very large revenue? Is that possible? How do you think about that differently than a year ago? Another interesting session that's been there, one of the things that we've been hearing from founders who have actually are deep into AI and building a lot of AI into their products is there's a lot more to building AI products than just the knowing what LLM to use or how to develop that product. So they're saying that there's a lot more there that founders need to be aware of and get right initially to avoid a lot of pain later. So this includes stuff like uh, keeping your data clean, privacy of your data. How do you budget for ongoing maintenance of your AI components? How do you make sure that the AI component is actually working? So a lot of these things, governance, regulations, need to be taken care of upfront, because otherwise you might be building your product in a way which will not be very sustainable. And we're going to have some folks talk about their experiences in that as well. And last but not least, to tie a lot of these different journeys together. And one of the interesting things that I've seen in AI journeys is that no two journeys seem alike. A lot of people are trying a lot of different things, and some things are working and some things are not working. But I've not been able to see a very uniform playbook for everybody to be able to apply the same thing to get from point A to point B. So, how do you think about product market fit in a AI first product, or if you're adding a lot of AI into your product, how do you really go from 0 to 1 in your AI product journey? That is something that I think will be interesting to a lot of folks, because I think it took us 10 years from say a 2005 to a 2015 to start building workflow SaaS products. And at least a few people in the ecosystem were starting to get it right in the 2018, 2019, 2020 timeframe. And obviously 2021, early 22, things blew up in the SaaS side and people were doing really well. Now this AI thing has come and is resetting a lot of frameworks, a lot of principles, a lot of things that people have figured out how to think about workflow SaaS and also the GTM in workflow SaaS. So that's where a bunch of these sessions will hopefully help all of you to think different and make sure that as we build more and more SaaS out of India, AI is also a large part of that, and we're able to capture value for customers and with customers that we should not be left behind.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Prasanna. Bunch of sessions on AI. So we'll also be, launching the agenda on the SCED app. So all of y'all should be getting access to that very soon. So you should be able to see more details on the sessions, the speakers, and so on. So keep an eye out for that. So moving on, we have a...
Hey folks,
Sorry about that. We have a video from Kalyan, who's the founder of Alma Base, and he wants to say something to all of us. And he is in, he's recorded this at at Times Square, so it's a bit noisy, but you will be able to hear him, and we definitely want you to.
every time I'm in Times Square, I spend some time just to sit down and think about things that I'm grateful for just in this environment. And you know what I realized? Like, no matter where we do business, San Francisco or New York or Atlanta, there is no SaaS community like SaaSBoomi in India. I mean, I've gotten so much help from so many people in the SaaSBoomi community, and I'm forever grateful for all the support and help that have helped us get to where we are today. And I'm super excited to go to SaaSBoomi Annual in March in Chennai. If you're in SaaS and you're still thinking whether you should go or not, I mean, it's as no-brainer as it gets. You absolutely should be there, and I'll see you all there. Thanks.
Yeah, so you heard that from Kalyan, and likewise to Kalyan, he's also helped a lot of founders, just like he's gotten help from several of them. All right, so over to Shruti to talk about the peer-to-peer sessions we planned.
Awesome. Thanks, Nivedha, and thanks, Prasanna. In business school, just like in regular school, you have front benchers and back benchers. We used to have terms called, learning focused versus CV focused people. And I think in the SaaSBoomi Annual, I would say there are also friendship focused things that you can look at. So I know Prasanna talked a lot about learning focused things. Let's talk a little bit about the friendship and peer-to-peer things. I don't even want to say the word learning again. So for me, honestly, the biggest thing with SaaSBoomi Annual, and generally I don't like to go for events, but I've gone for every SaaSBoomi Annual since it started, is because the first time I went, I realized that people were not just there to trumpet their own horn, but they were willing to share the failures they'd had, the learnings they'd had along the way. And that can be so valuable because we don't have all the time in the world to make our own mistakes. And the second thing is that it's not just during the annual, right? You meet a bunch of people during the annual, but you want, your questions don't end at the annual itself. So you want to have that network of peers who you can reach out to when, maybe the first time you're hiring for a role, when maybe the first time you're firing for a role, and everything else in between. And I think that's kind of what really SaaSBoomi Annual is meant to be. It's supposed to be kind of the big carnival of bringing people together, but not just at a superficial level of, hey, you met 1,000 people for 2 days, but ideally creating those connects that people can have for the long run. So one of the things that we are doing differently this year is to make it easier for people to find each other and, their own peers. We are doing different tracks for scale and growth founders, and also for operators. Right. So again, helping people find their peers in the right context, so that when you're getting advice or when you're sharing advice, it's more likely to be relevant. And of course, you still have to do your own filters. The second thing we are doing for the first time, and apologies, I don't know what's the name we are going to give this, but we are looking to give an opportunity to people to actually reach out to each other and connect in a slightly more organized fashion versus, while you're queuing up for your lunch or dinner plates. So there is on the app, and the details will come in soon enough. There is going to be an option for you to set up one-on-one meetings with other founders. The idea is that you can use these to maybe speak to people who are a little bit ahead of you in the journey, or use these to maybe share some things that you've learned along the way, and exchange notes. In the same spirit, we are also planning to have coaches, people who have gone through the journey, have probably focused or have expertise on certain functional aspects. So maybe somebody who's really good at product marketing, somebody who's maybe really good at SEO, somebody maybe who's really good at scaling engineering teams. And the idea being that you can then easily identify and spot them and maybe set up time with them. The other thing that we learned from a lot of people when we did the socials over the last month was that something that people find really useful is teardowns, right, where they can actually see either feedback on their own product or their own website or for somebody else, right? Because then it's no longer just about seeing a final output and the method through which you got to that output, but it's really looking at what looks like a final output and then saying, okay, maybe what is wrong, and maybe that's kind of where we tend to have a lot of blind spots, right? So there is going to be teardowns, and I think those are super valuable. Again, one of the things that I saw in my first couple of SaaSBoomi annuals and was a big fan of. So we are trying to bring some of those. The other part, which is, sometimes it's useful to have the same vocabulary and to have a set of frameworks that you can take back with you and talk to your teams about or implement. I know last year we did a session on product marketing and how both Ashwin and I use value prop canvas in our own companies and building out our product marketing and narrative. What we are looking to do is to try and do more of those, because the feedback from that was like, I had so many people over the last few months come and tell us that we've actually gone back and revised our website based on what we heard, and we had so many people request us for the presentation that we put together for that product marketing session. So there are also going to be frameworks and toolkits, and the reason why I put this also in the kind of peer-to-peer track is because ideally this provides you a vocabulary to then talk to other founders or talk to the functional folks in your team with something that can be recognized more easily. So yeah, those are just some of the things. There is a long list, but I think most importantly, it's about going and finding your friends forever types. I will stop with the cheesiness and hand over to Ashwin.
Thanks, Shruti. Okay, Ashwin, over to you. Wait, Ashwin, we can't hear you.
Sorry, I was speaking on mute. So Shruti, you talked about frameworks. One session I'm really looking forward to is actually Prasanna's about Wardley maps. As CEOs, we actually wing it when it comes to building the company strategy. If someone we trust says something, it must be right, or a McKinsey report says it must be right, and so on. I've been smitten by Wardley maps for the last 15-20 days and spending good amount of the day reading through it. So that's a session I'm looking forward to. That's a framework I think everyone should pick up and use. All right. So coming to CXO Bridge, this is something we are doing for the first time. We've done this in Kafila, we've done this in Caravan. Kafila happened in Dubai, Caravan happened in California, and they were massive successes. But we are doing it for the first time in India. The idea is to bring in CXOs, be it CTOs, CIOs, CHROs, business unit heads, country managers from large corporations. I'll tell you a few names now: Microsoft, Schneider, Maruti Suzuki, IDFC, Yes Bank, Rane. Bunch of these companies have all agreed to bring in their senior VPs and C-suits. The idea is not to facilitate conversation where you would score a lead. Of course, that can happen. But the idea is also to vulnerably ask them how to sell or position your product in their industry. What is the dominant boardroom conversations for these CXOs, and where do they lack when it comes to working with incumbents in tech? And where are opportunities that they see now or in the near future for SaaS companies to solve? And what languages they speak? They're all super kind to come down at their own cost to work with SaaS founders to help impart the knowledge they have about their industry. For them also, it's 2 good days to work with really pumped super energetic founders. So they are also taking away something from this. So we're super excited to bring this to you. We also have, so logistically, we will do this. We will look at like companies which have scaled. We'll start from the highest revenue to the lowest, but like rest assured, if you are an early stage company and if you have a really good industry specific solution, you would also be included in that. It could be partnerships, it could be M&A conversations, it could be like, GTM partnerships, like, all possibilities are there. So to leverage it. We're also like enabling an informal conversation with these CXOs over lunch so that it's not all one-on-one straitjacket stuff. You can have freewheeling conversations. Can we move on to the next slide? So VC Bridge, for those of you who attended last time, VC Bridge as an event where the marquee VCs pick the companies they want to meet one-on-one. So we are planning, last time it was about 150 meetings. This time it's going to be about 300 meetings. So right there, 2x more meetings. So chances are that like you will meet a VC. But this is also the first time, instead of opening it up for 13 or 14 VCs like who have sponsored SaaSBoomi and who are the marquee VCs, we've also deliberately reached out to angel investors, VCs, family offices, micro VCs, who all typically write the first checks. A lot of you would actually would want to write the first, would want the first check, be it like 250K or 500K or $1 million and so on. And we need those VCs who have the appetite and the interest in signing those checks. So we are bringing them. So what we are going to do is we're going to keep 50 of such VCs and angels in a room and 50 founders on a first come first serve basis. And we are enabling a blind date so that all of those 50 companies meet at least 50 VCs. This is apart from the hallway conversations that you would have. And just to make sure that you're absolutely utilizing that time well, we're also going to have a couple of founders who have raised money, know how to play that game, coach you on the elevator pitch. And that's optional. So you would hear about all of these between the 15th and 21st. And so it's a buzzer round. So once you hear it, like immediately say yes to that blind date, and you will be a part of it. As simple as that. So these are two bridge events that we are doing. Shruti, do we also talk about the M&A thing? I don't think we specifically called that out.
Yeah, makes sense. So we will also be doing small focus roundtables with exited founders. The idea is that you get to hear stories that probably don't make it to the press because there is sensitivity. You get to ask the questions that you've always wanted to know about what goes behind the scenes in an M&A process. And what we are looking to do is to make sure that people get exposure to as much variety of stories as possible. So yeah, that's also going to be part of the Connects here.
Thanks, Shruti. So I think that's all from my side, but I would leave one thing before I stop. I think Varun Shah said this, like this event is like the big fat Indian wedding of SaaS. So everyone knows everyone and like familiar faces. I'm fish out of water in my family wedding situations. But like this is something I look forward to because this is one place where like everyone's rooting for other and like very energizing conversations. So I'm pretty sure like if you are coming for the first time, you would feel that and looking forward to seeing you all.
Yeah, well said. Thanks, Ashwin. Okay, actually there was one more slide. So just give me a second. I think it didn't some reason show up, but this is a very exciting one. So worth the wait. And here we go. Okay, so somebody else already shared the Sched app link where you'll be able to see the schedule, but I also wanted to share some of the marquee names, speakers who will be seeing at the event. So these are names that you will also find on the schedule. And lot of hustling, lot of effort that has gone into from all of the volunteers who've been working. So Ashwin, Shruti, Prasanna, all of them are, technically volunteers. All of them have played a part in us getting folks like, Dheeraj Pandey, Dharmesha, Rajesh Jain. These are folks who'll be talking, someone like Rajesh Jain, who's built, a massive company, will come and talk about like what it took for, him to sort of, build that company. And that's not a story that we, sort of hear on a regular basis. So exciting stuff. Now we'll, pause and, take questions. So if you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A box and we'll, start taking that. Okay, so anonymous attendee is asking, how many SaaS companies got the first check at 2023?
Good question. I wish like we were as like data savvy as like we should be, as we are in our like personal companies. But this time we are tracking it. So this time one of the stated goals is to have at least, if I remember it right, 3 companies getting like to a confirmed check within like 6 months of the first meeting. So that is something we are actually tracking for the first time. We didn't track this last time.
Nice, today I learned. Okay, so next we have Chiran, who's asked, in post-generative AI, has the problem statement changed? My understanding is that speed to market has increased due to faster development time, plus enabling new features to exploit AI. Apart from this, what else has changed? Prasanna, you want to take that?
I think, there are multiple levels at which changes are happening. I think the most trivial but most overlooked thing is that there were companies doing AI stuff before and people simply didn't believe them and didn't buy their products. The same product, more or less, is now having insane demand and people are buying this stuff. So that's at the most trivial level, but you should not discount it. It's had a massive millions to tens of millions of dollars of impact from a revenue standpoint, right? And then at another level, there are just features that are being added to solve the same problem statements that were being solved before with AI, right? That's also happening. But another interesting thing that's happening is that people are now offering outcome-based services with software, which was not possible before, which would have taken a BPO or an agency to offer, which are now being offered as maybe human in the loop AI-based products or pure AI-based products. So that last one is, I think, going to be a very, very critical angle where India has a very strong advantage because we have a lot of people and we have a lot of domain experts as well who are hiding in these consulting companies and IT services companies. So forget about the development time. I think if you're building an enterprise product, the demands on that will stay the same. I'm not sure how much development cycle is going to be crunched there. But what value you can add, you might be able to build a product that's creating value for customers that they did not think was possible using a product. And I think Shruti built a product before, Gen AI was cool, which kind of did that, right?
Yeah.
Great. Anyone else wants to add to that?
I don't know if the question was like, has the problem statement changed in terms of like, has the structure of what a SaaS company looks like changed? I think to some extent that is still up for debate as people think about like what happens if, your advantage time goes down from, having a head start of 2 years to having a head start of maybe 4 months. How does the industry structurally evolve or things of that nature? I think there are many points of view, but it'll probably need to play out. And I think the other thing that has changed is the way incumbents look at new technology has changed, and that could have lots of opportunities for companies that are just starting out, because I think in the previous cycles we've seen larger enterprises being more resistant to change, taking more time. But at least there's some early indication that maybe that tech adoption curve is also set for disruption.
Okay, thank you. By the way, just a quick note. If you all have any questions about the event, whether something's planned, whether we're focusing on something, anything that we didn't cover, that you have questions, this is the right time to ask those questions. Okay, so moving on, another anonymous attendee. Are there any events or tracks for senior executives? So what can we expect to take away?
Yeah, at least 80% of the tracks are meant for designed in such a way that senior executives can attend and go back on Monday and implement them. So customer success playbooks for scaled companies, SEO in the age of generative AI, how to do product marketing right, the 101s of product marketing. So almost like 80% of the sessions are meant as like frameworks and actionable insights that senior executives can take.
Yeah, and for the first time, we also have a, special pass for senior executives. So, all the more reason for senior execs in this call to, buy the pass. I see Prasanna is answering the next question, which is, it's answered. All right, so we can move to the next one. Manik from IP Author, the Feb 21 invites, we as a growing startup, can we expect invites from investors, or should we send out invites to investors, or both of them can happen? I think this is about the Connect events.
Yeah, you don't have to do anything now. Just sit back and like you will get a. So what we're going to do is like we are going to send the list of startups to investors, and they are going to curate and say, here are the companies that we want to meet. This is for the one-on-ones, right? And they will pick the companies, and the companies that they have picked will get a notification from us, and you would go and pick a slot from their Calendly, right? So they have opted in to meet you, and then you have to opt in to meet them. So it's a double opt-in thing. If those 13, 14 VCs have not picked your company to meet, you can still go ahead and meet the other VCs. The only difference between, so it's not like a grade A, grade B type of thing going on here. It's just differentiating between sponsoring VCs like who have paid us like money for like running SaaSBoomi affairs. They get slightly longer one-on-ones, whereas the rest of the ones like get like in the blind date. That's all the differences. We have some really good marquee VCs who will be part of the blind date also, right? So for blind date, it's not like a double opt-in. You just, we'll send a note saying blind date is open and there are 50 slots. Whoever picks up the slots, like get in. That's all there is to it.
Do we have a sense of when that form is going to go out?
Between the 15th and 21st.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Okay, so next we have a question from Charit Kashyap. How do you see performance-based pricing SaaS making trend? Revenues, recovery, delta change with CAC, or any performance-based pricing models for SaaS products?
That's a good question for Krish of
Who's
SaaSBoomi.
not here.
I think they have some data. Or Profitwell, if you follow Patrick Campbell, he typically writes about this.
Maybe we
Anyone
need
else
a pricing session at the event.
Yeah. I think there was a thing about Krish doing a closed door session. I don't know what the status is, but pricing is a topic that we have gone back and discussed like a few times, and you might, I don't remember on the top of my head, but we might have a pricing session.
Yeah, we'll definitely look into that. And by the way, like we are still a month out from the event. So while largely not much is going to change, you will see some, changes here and there as we start hearing feedback, on what we've planned. So, something like this will sort of spark an idea. Okay, hey, this is probably something that we should include. So, expect to see that. Manik, I know you mentioned about product marketing inputs from peers. Can we also have a product marketing track like your AI track? Appreciate this.
Shruti, you want to go?
So we will have a product marketing session, but not a whole track. We do have, I think we are trying to cover brand messaging, storytelling in different sessions. It's not kind of maybe strung together as a product marketing track. But I think what we will be doing is, maybe we'll start to put some tags to help people identify sessions based on areas of interest, right? Like, and maybe that's a takeaway for us. Yeah.
And one session I'm super excited about is the story of Titan by Bhaskar Bhatt. And they have done brand marketing like nobody else. And they've also cracked product marketing really well. And Indian SaaS has a lot to learn from fast-moving consumer goods and like electronics. And they are the poster boy of branding done well and product marketing done well in that industry. So it's going to be a 1-hour conversation with them. So that's also something we are doing for the first time.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Let's see. We have, okay, last time we had a list of attendees sent in so that we could network or set up meetings at the event before we came. Would the list of attendees be shared this time? I'm guessing yes, because we're going to be using the Sked app. So if you register on the Sked app with that from that link that was shared on the chat, we can put it again. Maybe Amrita, you can help add that link back. But I'm guessing that will have the list of attendees that you can see. Okay, so Nambi MMT, are there sessions on PMF for early stage startups experimenting on the same?
So somebody else take a crack at it. I'll look at the program agenda sheet. I don't remember that top of my head.
We do have a session on value prop canvas, which both you and Shruti will be doing. And we have Wardley maps by Prasanna. In a way, in my mind, that those are two, that will help with, sort of PMF.
And there's a AI PMF track.
AI PMF, yes.
So we'll also talk about like demand gen, like how to structure your sales team, how to like, manage the sales cadence and so on. So that's another.
I think outbound and SEO.
Yeah, that's a session on outbound. That's a session on SEO. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Hey, I joined the event late. Where do I? Oops. Okay, somebody's answered that question. Are you giving special discount to the committed people who are here for 2 to 3 hours? Sadly, it's
I
not
think
going to
if
be 2 to 3
anybody,
hours.
does 40, 60 hours of volunteering before the event, I think we can consider a discount, right, Ashwin?
Malvika has to answer that question. I'll divert. But hey, Upeka is sponsoring some like, discounts, right?
I believe so.
You only open this like Pandora's box of like, 4 hours, 6 hours. So it's better. It's good that like.
I didn't say anything about a discount. When it bought it,
Yeah.
I just said committed.
Yeah.
Okay. From Yadu, I am helping some of your peers understand market entry into Europe. Ashwin, let's chat. So this could be a topic.
Yeah. Noted, Yadu. We'll bring this up in the program call and see how we can take this in.
So, are there specific tracks on US GTM? We have an entire like annual event called Caravan that's for US GTM also, but anyone?
See, all the topics are de facto US GTM. I mean, if it's a GTM topic, it's US related, unless otherwise clarified. So yes.
Yeah. Okay, someone send the Sked app link. Which sessions or aspects of the annual should SaaS bootstrappers look forward to? Any sessions on GTM? Rahul, I think we just answered that question. So unless you have any other questions there, let us know. Manik, I'm flying in from SF. I've planned my trip till March 10th. Would you recommend a longer trip for potential follow-up meetings, or is it good enough? Appreciate your inputs. I guess depends on what sessions you're, joining in. If you're coming in for the Connect events and qualifying for those, then, likely a good idea to have some buffer time to, meet with the people that you'll be talking there. Any thoughts, Ashwin?
Yeah, unless like you are planning for subsequent meetings with VCs or like CXOs, I would think like, the 7th and 8th are good enough.
Yeah, because most other people will also be traveling just for the event. So, yeah.
Awesome. We still have some time. And if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in here. I do have one more very exciting video to show you all. So okay, Rahul. Anything for folks who are not coming for VC? Anything on alternate funding sources, better capital management, tax setup, and such? Shruti?
I think Prasanna's answering that question.
I'm not answering.
Okay, so I'll take it, right? So there is there is a session on compliance in which like we'll talk about company structures and like setting up right for taxation and like RBI, all those nice interesting topics. So that will be definitely there. And we are not specifically talking about alternative funding sources. That's not something that we are planning to do, but like we'll take this as an input and see if we can do that. Better capital management, interesting. We haven't really planned a session for it, but it's a good topic. But point noted, we'll see if we can squeeze this in any of these existing topics.
Yeah.
So, okay, Amrita is answering that.
Nivedha, why don't you put the video and then,
Yeah.
we can wait for a minute if anybody wants to.
Okay, so this is our official trailer. So I've been quite excited to see this. Wow.
That was fun.
Yeah.
First time.
Yeah, even I saw it for the first time when I got it. Yeah, that was nice. Okay, any other Q&As? How to get access to the SCAD app? Yeah, okay, Amrita's got that. So we have a few more minutes. So if you all have any other questions, please keep them rolling. And in the meantime, as we wait, I have another video for you.
Nivedha is good at teasing us with videos.
Hello, I'm Asta Sharma, co-founder of Veris. Today, I'm thrilled to share how SaaSBoomi has been a game changer for us and why it's a community unlike any other. Imagine finding a place where every challenge of entrepreneurship is understood. A community that stands ready to support you, guide you, propel you forward. That's what SaaSBoomi has been for us at Veris. It's not just a network that we'd like to be associated to. It's our lifeline, offering mentorship, friendships, unparalleled access to industry insights, investment opportunities, so on and so forth. What I would like to share with the larger ecosystem from the SaaSBoomi wisdom, well, whatever I've gained till now, is the power of paying it forward. This ethos actually changes you. It changes the way you do business. It embeds you within the deeper ecosystem, and it shows that while you grow, you're uplifting others around you, and that is magical. The impact on Veris itself has been profound. It's been phenomenal. The path of a startup is usually paved with a lot of trials, but with SaaSBoomi, we have leapfrogged those pitfalls, learning from those who have already navigated that path. Being a part of initiatives like SGX has meant that every question, every new launch, landing in new geographies, finding guidance is just a WhatsApp away from mentors who genuinely invest in your success. Am I looking ahead to this year's annual? Well, yes, I absolutely am. I'm beyond excited. I'm fresh off Kafila, that is SaaSBoomi's India GCC corridor. I can only imagine the annual being that experience which is magnified maybe by 10 times. So if you're on the fence about attending, let me just say this is an opportunity you don't want to miss. Join us to be a part of a movement where growth, learning, and collaboration, it all flourishes. I can't wait to meet each one of you at the annual. See you there.
That was lovely, Asta. Thank you. All right. There've been a few more questions. So just a note on the SCED app, we are making some final updates. So we should be ready to share this with you all by early next week. So we'll, I think we should be able to send all of you an email if you've registered. And it'll also be on our website under the SaaSBoomi Annual 2024 event. So you should be able to find it there as well. So we'll take it live early next week. Just final exciting changes. Okay, Q&As. What else do we have here? So Manik, I know our space has at least 6-7 competing startups. We as a startup, would we as a startup participant know the other startups coming into SaaSBoomi? Or other list of attendees confidential. So as and when we release a SCED app, you will be able to register and say that you are attending the SaaSBoomi annual event. And in that way, you'll also be able to see the other participants, attendees will be coming in. So you should be able to figure out who's coming from that list and decide if you want to network with people from that list. Anonymous attendee.
Yes, this will be an opt-in, right? Just to clarify, not everybody who's registered for the event will by default be registered on SCED, and the visibility will be something that you control. Your profile on SCED is something that you control. So, whether you want others to know that you're attending or, the people that you can search through in the app will depend on who are the people who've kind of registered on the app and made their profiles public and updated them.
Awesome. Thank you.
I can take this one. So last year and the year before that, we've had this really fun concept of a bus called a SaaSy bus that would take people from Bangalore to Chennai and then back. And it's a really fun ride because there are founders and it's a really informal way of getting to know people and building your sort of clique or group before you get into the annual. And of course, we're also planning for it this year as well, and we'll be sending out communications via emails to all of the attendees who have registered and paid for the event. So please keep an eye out because it is a first come first basis situation and there's limited capacity. But yes, there will be a caravan from Bangalore to Chennai.
Yeah, I've been on that bus and I can tell you it was really fun. So definitely catch that if you are in Bangalore. Any session on attracting and retaining talent?
I'm answering that privately.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. But there is a session on org design, hiring, leadership. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm also saying across various topics, hiring will be a recurring topic. So hiring is a very state specific thing. So we'll have those.
Sure. Any hotels recommended close to Chola? There's actually a bunch of hotels.
I'm answering that. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Would you let us know upfront which sessions would be recorded and which ones won't be?
I think that's a good input. We should put a legend.
Sure.
I think that's a good point. We'll do that.
Yeah, make note. I think these questions are great because gives us a good basis for some FAQs. So we'll also put together some FAQs for the event. Great. Thank you all for joining. This was, really fun sharing and giving you all a sneak peek into what we have planned. And so if you haven't bought your tickets, I hope this was, selling enough for you to come join us on March 7th and 8th in Chennai. So thank you so much and see you all in Chennai.
See you all.
Bye, folks. See you in Chennai.
Bye, everybody.